And in this video, we're going to talk about data analytics and in particular, how data analytics affects management controls. So there are four elements needed to establish data-driven organization. The first one is data savvy people, so individuals who understand data and are able to work with data. And this is becoming more and more important as informations collect more and more data at a much higher rate than ever in history. You also need to have quality data. Quality data usually comes from quality information systems. You have to make sure that the data has integrity and it's verified. Then you need appropriate tools, whether it's statistical tools or tools as simple as Excel or AI learning tools or those quant-based data forecasting, statistical models. You need tools to transform the data into information, and then you need processes and incentives that support analytical decision making. You need to ensure that there is a process of looking at the data and that employees are incentivized to make the right decisions. Becoming a data driven organization requires creating structures, processes, and incentives to support analytical decision making, and top management must communicate how data will drive performance. So there needs to be information right from the top saying, you know what, we are a data savvy organization. We are going to use the data that we collect to make decisions, to change strategies, goals, and objectives. Now we are going to look at some key factors to promote a data-driven culture. The first is always having the right tone at the top. Management needs to champion using cutting edge analytics. We need to support the investment to provide the organization the correct infrastructure and tools. And they also have to show that they are able to rely on data analytics and use data analytics in their decision making versus being weary and skeptical about data analytics. Next is having strategies for the effective use of technology. Organizations need to have a plan on how data analytics will be used in a proactive way. Is it going to be used in monthly reporting, daily reporting? Is there going to be a dashboard of key performance metrics? This is going to be done at an organizational level, department level, employee level. I had former students tell me that who work at KPMG and the other four, like they have a dashboard that shows their key performance metrics, and those are their teams. So they know how many hours their team members work versus the tasks they complete and the benchmarks they achieve. Then you need a commitment to collecting and using data from both internal and external sources to support analytics efforts. And this means having a commitment to utilize different data to develop a deep understanding of the organization and its environment. Organizations collect tons of information from point of sale systems about their customers. They collect a lot of information through cookies online on their websites. But they also need external information. For example, weather information for businesses that whose sales are contingent on weather. You need economic information, just any source of information, but you always need to make sure that that data has integrity and is error free. We need to use both monetary and non-monetary rewards to promote an analytical decision making. So you have to incentivize your employees to behave in an analytical way. So use incentives to communicate the importance of data analytics and align employees' behavior with the organization's needs. You also need a willingness to adequately provide resources to the analytics effort. So organizations should provide employees with training to develop their analytical skills and also provide them time to prepare analysis and utilize the skills that they were trained. And it's one of those things like anything in life practice makes perfect, so you need to allow employees the time and resources to practice. Then you need to align the analytical efforts throughout the organization. That might be assigning a team for analytics. As I mentioned to you in class, I worked in two organizations in an analysis analytics department. I worked at the Canadian Tire head office and we looked at analytics. And I also worked in a reporting and analytics role at Vale, a mining company. Those departments are getting bigger and bigger, and they're using much more complex tools to analyze information. Back at Canadian Tire, we used Access database to query information from our system, and then we did a lot of reporting and analysis in Excel. Now there are ERP systems, and it's much easier to generate pre-established reports and do ad hoc analysis. Now we are going to look at the data lifecycle. Data, as any anything on this planet, has a life cycle. The first thing that occurs is the capture phase. So here data is brought into the organization, whether it is through data entry or data acquisition or various connected devices. Then the data has to be qualified, so the data has to be assessed for its quality and completeness using a predefined set of rules. So you're making sure that your data has integrity. Next, the data needs to be transformed. So data from different sources should be linked together. This could be in a database to find the intrinsic value that's hidden in it. And then the data has to be utilized. Data is used to help enterprises make good business decisions. Data that is reported on, and these reports can be to external stakeholders as well as internal stakeholders. But usually internal stakeholders see the data in the utilization phase. The reporting phase is more for external stakeholders. So think of creating financial statements for your shareholders. Then after the data is used, it should be archived. So transferred from this is a transfer of the data from an active stage to a passive stage. It is always beneficial to archive data in case you ever need it again to refer to it again. Then, after a certain amount of time, data storage can get expensive, especially if you think of how quickly data now is being generated. So the last stage is data can be and root for the enterprise. So for example, with my research, I have to keep my data for 7 years. After 7 years, I am obligated to purge it. Trademark the management system, the whole system looks at data governance. Data governance helps an enterprise administer the data as it flows through the various phases of the data lifecycle. And data governance creates rules that the organization must follow during each stage. So you're making sure that the data is secure, that only certain people have access to it. And when you're looking at about access, you might be looking at read-only access versus read and write access. And this will ensure data security and keep an organization safe from data breaches. That is it for our data and analytics video. Data analytics should be a part of each organization structure. We can design management control systems that enhance the probability that an organization uses its data for analysis and the data drives the organization in the correct path, increases its effectiveness and success. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in class. Bye.